Well, turns out those things aren't even real cheese, because in order for something to be actually called cheese, it has to contain at least 51% cheese. But those things are cheese products, which is why you look at it, it says pasteurized cheese products.
It doesn't even say cheese.
It's not cheese, no. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 18 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Kevin.
And Kevin, I am very excited about today's podcast topic because it's something that there's a lot of misconception around this topic. So let's kick it off. What are we talking about?
Yeah, something that I would fall into the misconception category as well on this. It's cheese and butter. And that's always something that I'm thinking, hey, you probably shouldn't have too much of that, Kevin. And that's what I tell myself.
Yeah, you're right. But that's what we've been told.
Yeah. The first thing I'm thinking, though, I gotta be honest, is like nachos, just smothered in cheese.
Okay,
and
well,
that probably is, you still want to limit.
Not that kind of cheese.
No, this is different.
Different cheese.
Different cheese. And what it turns out is that these certain cheeses and butter have a lot of health benefits to them, and we should actually be consuming more of it than we actually think. But before we get into that, I want to talk about superfoods. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot. I'm not really sure what it means, and I think other people might be confused as well.
I don't think anyone really knows what superfoods mean. I think it's some made-up term that people use to market their products.
Yes, another marketing term.
Yeah.
We run across those a lot. So I found a Harvard list of 10 superfoods that you should be consuming, and I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for each of them.
Okay.
Yep. And then after this...
Am I explaining or just thumbs up, thumbs down?
We're going to start with thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay.
And then we'll go deeper.
We'll debrief.
Yeah.
Okay.
But after that, too, we're going to hear about your superfoods.
Okay.
You've come up with a list of 5 superfoods.
Yes.
And I want to hear those.
Okay.
And how
Sounds
it compares.
Good. Let's do it.
Okay. So the Harvard one first. Berries. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Can I do thumbs? Can I do thumbs in the middle?
You can do thumbs in the middle.
All right, I'll do thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs in the middle for berries. Fish.
Another middle.
And then another middle. Leafy greens.
Okay, I'll explain my reasoning for all of this after.
Okay.
I'm going thumbs down.
Ooh, not gonna like that. Nuts.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Olive oil.
These don't necessarily have to be on my list, do they?
No, not necessarily.
Okay,
Just
I'll go.
Kyle would buy this.
I'll go thumbs up.
Kyle would have this.
Olive oil, thumbs up.
Okay.
Extra virgin. Real olive oil.
Yeah, let's assume it's real.
Yeah.
Whole grains.
Big fat thumbs down.
Big thumbs down. Yogurt.
Thumbs up.
Yum.
Depending on the yogurt.
Yep. Cruciferous vegetables.
Thumbs down.
Big thumbs down. Legumes.
Big thumbs down.
Yeah. And last one, tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
I don't know. Tomatoes must have paid a ton of money to be on this list.
Yeah, wait, what?
They just snuck in there, huh?
That's so random.
Yeah.
Everything else is also very broad, and then it's just tomatoes.
I do have the reasoning for each of these.
Okay.
So
we might have to break that out.
Okay.
But tomatoes.
Tomatoes. So here's what Harvard said.
Okay.
Let me read it to you. Tomatoes are super high in vitamin C and lycopene, which has been shown to reduce risk of prostate cancer.
Okay. We'll go middle.
Okay, we'll go middle for tomatoes.
Yeah.
You talked about expanding on some of these.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to expand on?
Well, I want to say berries first of all. I think berries are great. I think they're high in certain vitamins and minerals. They're a great source of carbohydrates. Are they a superfood? I probably wouldn't put them in a superfood category.
No.
But I'm by no means against berries at all.
Yeah. Blueberries specifically, I think of as having a lot of power. And I don't know if I've not fact checked this, but when I was really sick with Crohn's, bad inflammation in the gut, and berries were anti-inflammatory, so I would try to have berries. Berries
are very high in antioxidants.
Okay.
So that's one of the main benefits of berries, specifically wild blueberries.
Yeah.
I think it's like even double or triple the amount of antioxidants. So that's why people love.
Do you work berries into your diet at all?
Yeah, I have berries. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll buy it when it's like on sale.
Okay.
I always try to go for organic berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So berries you wanted to expand on, and leafy greens.
Yeah. I also wanted to say fish too, because I gave that
fish.
one in the middle, and I'd say this one can be thumbs up depending on the type of fish. It's a really good source of protein. It's a really good source of fat. The problem with a lot of fish out there, like tuna, swordfish, and even other types of fish, is that they're very high in heavy metals. And this amount of heavy metals in fish is only going up because our oceans are only getting more and more polluted. So that's what I worry about with fish.
Yeah.
But things like sardines, wild caught salmon tend to be lower in these heavy metals, in which case I would give those a thumbs up.
If you're at a seafood restaurant and all they have is seafood, what's your go-to seafood option?
Probably salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah, but also like shrimp and lobster tend to be not as high. It's really the ones you want to avoid, which are tuna. There are certain brands of tuna out there that test for heavy metals, which I would prefer going for. But tuna, swordfish, and like shark, which I'm not going to consume shark anytime soon.
No.
But those three are like the highest, which is like avoid at all costs.
Okay.
So I would avoid those. But other than that, I mean, it's really the amount that you're consuming. Like, if you're consuming these things every once in a while, it's not a big deal. But definitely, I don't recommend consuming something like tuna every single day.
Right. Okay. So that is fish. Leafy greens is the next one.
I guess all of
leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. Would you group these together?
Yeah, I guess so. They're just like, we've talked about this before, but again, these aren't necessarily bad. But when I think of superfood, I think of so nutrient dense and bioavailable. Keyword bioavailable, meaning our body knows how to absorb it. The nutrients in these things aren't in leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. They're not super bioavailable. And a lot of people react negatively to them. So when I think of superfood, I think of something that people don't react negatively to and can easily absorb. Yeah. So that's why I gave these a thumbs down.
Yeah. I'm someone who reacts horribly to cruciferous vegetables.
That's right.
Yeah. I can't digest them at all.
Your stomach just...
It kills me. Yeah. I wouldn't call that a superfood for me.
Yeah. So cruciferous vegetables... So cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, those sort of things. Those are cruciferous
carrots
vegetables.
too for me.
Oh, that really? Carrots?
Yeah, not cruciferous, but it falls into the category for
Interesting.
me.
Oh, you love carrots.
Love carrots.
Or you always ate carrots as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like raw carrots, not cooked.
Yeah.
Do cooked carrots bother you less?
A lot better.
For that makes
carrots.
sense. Yeah. That makes sense. If you have digestive problems, definitely go for cooked vegetables. Don't consume raw vegetables.
No.
I never consume raw vegetables.
Not at all.
No. Just too difficult to digest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any of the other ones that stand out?
Nuts, another thing that can be difficult to digest, so I would not call that a superfood. Whole grains, another thing that can be difficult to digest, also contains a lot of anti-nutrients in them. If you're sprouting them, that's maybe a different story, but would not consider that a superfood. Yogurt, if it's raw, preferably, which I think we're going to get into more about cheese, butter, yogurt, kefir. I think that can be a superfood. Legumes, no. Tomatoes, I don't know. We'll leave tomatoes out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
Okay, so those are Harvard's.
Okay.
Let's talk about Kyle's superfoods. You've come up with a list of 5.
Yep. So I think one of them was one that we mentioned on last week's episode, which is bone broth. The benefits, the amount of benefits and nutrients and vitamins and minerals and amino acids in bone broth, I think that is a superfood. The benefits that you get from it, and also it's easy to digest. If someone consumes bone broth, they're most likely going to tolerate it perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So that's my first one. Grass-fed meat, preferably beef, or other good sources of meat would be things like venison, like ruminant animals. So like venison, elk, bison. Those are the main ones.
Okay.
I can't say I consume a lot of those other ones.
No,
but
the beef's a lot more available.
Yeah, and taste better.
Yeah. Yep.
But the amount of nutrients, the amount of vitamins and minerals in grass-fed meat is through the roof, and it's bioavailable, meaning our body knows what to do with it.
Yep.
It's something we've been consuming for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yep.
Okay. What's next? Butter.
Ooh.
Butter made it on the list.
Spicy.
No, not spicy butter.
Spicy
Regular butter. As we'll get into, we're gonna get into the benefits of butter and the vitamins and minerals in butter, but I think butter can be considered a superfood
because of the nutrients and benefits that it offers.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next one?
Organ meats, which is something that I do not consume raw, but I consume it in capsule form.
Huh.
Or I guess not consume like fresh.
Yep.
I consume it in capsule form, which is like freeze dried.
Yep.
I believe. So I consume organ meats every morning with my supplements. They are extremely nutrient dense: liver, kidney, heart, spleen. The list goes on and on. Super nutrient dense, super bioavailable.
Have you ever had them fresh?
No.
Gotta try that out.
I know.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
We're gonna make that
That's on
happen.
my list.
Yeah.
I bought it once, but then I didn't eat it and it went bad.
Yeah.
That was liver. And then finally on my list, I have raw honey,
Oh.
which is specifically even Manuka honey, which I actually did a Instagram
just saw
reel
that.
about the other day about how it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, great for your digestive system, can help relieve different symptoms related to IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Also can be used topically for wounds and scrapes and things like that. But yeah.
That was the one that I had last week.
Oh yeah, Manuka honey.
Yeah, Manuka.
Yeah,
Manuka honey.
I tried it.
It's got some real flavor to it.
It's different. It's a different flavor. It's like I don't know if spicy is the right word, but it's like spices.
Yeah.
It tastes like there's spices in it.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
It's if you're gonna try it, don't expect pure sweet honey.
Yeah.
It's got a spice. It's not bad.
it's sweet.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
And honestly, the first time I tried Manuka honey, I was like, I don't know about this. But now that I've been having it, it's grown on me.
Okay.
And now I enjoy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give it a couple days.
Yeah, I gotta try it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are your superfoods. And again, why do you classify all of those as superfoods?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it with every single one of those. But it's two things. It's the nutrient density. And I'm not going to go into depth about what each of these contain, but look it up. The amount of vitamins and minerals and essential amino acids in all of those foods, except for raw honey, is fantastic. And these are bioavailable, meaning our bodies know what to do with it. We know how to absorb these nutrients, unlike some of the nutrients in those other foods that Harvard considered superfoods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another food we've been consuming for probably hundreds of thousands of years is cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It looked a lot different back then than it does now in most cases, and we'll talk about that. But I think something surprising here is that cheese can be, if consumed in the right way, good for you.
Yes.
Why is that?
So there's many benefits to cheese. One of them being the omega-3 fatty acids in cheese, which are anti-inflammatory, great for brain health, and so many other things. It also contains all fat-soluble vitamins, which are vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K, and vitamin E. And we've talked about him before, but Dave Asprey, the bulletproof guy,
Yep.
he talks about these fat-soluble vitamins all the time. And I think he probably has a supplement that contains these vitamins in them, but he refers to them as vitamin Dake.
Vitamin Dake. Oh, D-A-K-E. Huh.
D-A-K-E. So that's a good way to remember it.
Okay.
Those are fat-soluble vitamins.
And fat-soluble, what does that mean?
It basically just means that these specific vitamins are absorbed better by the body when there's fat involved. But funny how nature works, if you look at the foods that are highest in fat-soluble vitamins, they naturally contain fat. So we're good.
Yep. Win-win.
We're good there.
Yeah. Okay. What other benefits does cheese offer?
So vitamin K, we talked about that. It also contains various B vitamins and also something known as CLA, or conjugated linoleic acid.
I remember that from the milk episode.
Yes, we talked about this already, which we're going to get into the specific types of cheese I recommend buying, but grass-fed cheese is higher in this CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. Also, the omega-3 fats also higher in grass-fed cheese. But CLA it has also been shown to be anti-inflammatory and can also help with weight loss.
Huh.
And then a few other things like calcium, again, very bioavailable, and choline, which is a very essential amino acid. But yeah, I think those are all the major benefits.
A lot more benefits than I would have thought.
Exactly.
Cheese.
Yeah. And we've been told to not consume cheese. Why?
I really don't know.
I don't
I really don't know why.
I assume it's because fat, it's high in fat, specifically saturated fat. Yeah, I think that's the only reason, because it's not high in cholesterol. So I'd say that
it's just associated
we've been told
with
by
that.
the government that it's saturated fat, limit cheese.
Yeah, we learned that on last week's episode. Don't listen to the government.
Oh yeah. Last week.
Yeah. So
I guess bone broth was 2 weeks ago then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned that
earlier. We talked a lot about on the milk episode raw milk. Is there raw cheese as well?
Yes, there is raw cheese.
Okay.
I always try to buy raw cheese when I am buying my cheese. And it's a lot easier to find raw cheese than other raw products, like raw milk, for example.
And why is that?
So the only real regulation around cheese in general is that it has to be aged greater than 60 days and that it has to be aged at a temperature greater than 35 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 degrees Celsius. So we really don't know at what temperature these different companies are pasteurizing their cheese at. So that's why it's like, yes, it's great if you can get raw, but you don't really know if it's truly raw cheese.
Is there any way to find out how?
You can, I mean, I guess really the only way is reaching out to the actual company and asking what temperature they're pasteurizing their cheese at.
Yeah. And if you call the manufacturer, what temperature are you looking to hear?
So ideally, I know, for example, there's a company called Raw Farm, and they make raw dairy products. I believe they're based in California. Yeah. Anyways, I know that they're like the gold standard to raw dairy products, and they pasteurize. And I'm using air quotes here because it's not technically pasteurized, but they heat their dairy to 102 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So like that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Because you're not destroying any of the nutrients or bioactive compounds in there at that temperature. I know low temp pasteurized products is 145, which you're still not destroying a lot. So I wouldn't want it to be above that.
Less than 145.
Correct.
Okay.
Because
that's
ideal world. When you go above that, that's when you start to destroy some of the nutrients and bacteria and enzymes and different beneficial compounds in raw cheese.
And the reason that companies heat it up that much is because it lasts longer on the shelves. Is that what the reason was?
A lot of the times you look at the farm, and most farms out there, they're not good conditions. There's infections and bad bacteria everywhere. So when you go to most factory farms, which is where a majority of cheese is coming from, it has a lot of bad things in the cheese. So you have to pasteurize it to get rid of the basically the bad stuff in the cheese. But when you go to a farm like Raw Farm, which I just talked about, which has incredibly high standards and it's very clean and sanitary, and there's none of that bad bacteria or viruses or anything like that getting into the cheese, there's no reason to pasteurize it.
Got it. So they're killing everything by pasteurizing it.
Exactly.
Bad and good.
They're doing it for basically safety standards. But if you're getting it from a trusted, preferably even local family farm, there's no reason to pasteurize it.
Okay, I see. I'm with you now.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the shelf life or the expiration.
I was thinking about the milk that you find on shelves not in the fridge. How do they get to a point where they can put a milk carton on the shelf?
Yeah, well, that's hot, ultra high temperature pasteurization, and that is to make it make it so it doesn't have to be refrigerated, and also lasts a very long time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on then to bad, better, best of cheeses. Let's start where everyone wants us to start, the bad. The bad. What are the bad cheeses?
Well, these are going to be the things that really aren't even cheese to begin with, but they look like cheese. So this is going to be your Kraft singles and then your spray cheese. You know, the cheese in a can. We used to have that a lot.
A lot.
Growing up.
Put it on a Ritz cracker.
Yeah.
That was good.
I just remember that was like our go-to snack when we were traveling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everywhere at a hotel.
You got to
go to the grocery store, you get your spray cheese and your Ritz crackers.
Your spray cheese and your Ritz crackers.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh. And it was delicious.
So good.
Well, turns out those things aren't even real cheese because in order for something to be actually called cheese, it has to contain at least 51% cheese. But those things are cheese products, which is why you look at it like Kraft singles. It says pasteurized cheese product.
It doesn't even say cheese.
It's not cheese. No. Because you look at it, it's like there's a bunch of ingredients in there. Yeah. It's not just cheese.
No. What about like I'm at a restaurant and I'm having a burger and they put a slice of cheese on there?
Yeah, if it looks like Kraft singles, then it probably is.
Yeah.
And I would recommend not getting it.
If you're getting a burger somewhere, do you normally go just no cheese to be safe?
It depends on the restaurant.
Okay.
If it's like a higher scale restaurant, then you could ask for some cheddar cheese or Gruyere cheese or something like that, which should just be cheese. But obviously, if I'm going to McDonald's or something like that to get some beef patties, maybe definitely don't get the
No
cheese.
cheese.
No cheese.
What about the shredded cheese that's commonly found in stores? Is it depending on which one you look at?
Yeah, it's definitely depending, but that's a good question because just about every single one of those shredded cheeses contains something called cellulose, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's wood pulp.
Wood pulp?
Yeah.
Like
So
juices from a tree?
From wood to prevent it from clumping. So yeah.
Not bad? I don't know. Wood pulp, it doesn't seem bad. It's all natural, right?
I guess there's no negative studies or negative effects on it.
Okay.
Do I recommend buying it? No. Just shred it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just do the extra step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about better cheeses?
Better cheeses is going to be anything that is actually 100% real cheese. And there's only one ingredient, and it's cheese. So going in order, conventional cheese. So this is non-organic. This is non-grass-fed. It's most likely just, there's not going to be a whole lot of labeling on it, besides maybe some marketing terms like all natural, which in reality means nothing.
Yeah.
We've learned that by now.
Yes.
Natural means nothing. So conventional cheese, and then organic is going to be the better option because it's the cows are at least consuming grains and grass that is organic and not sprayed with any synthetic pesticides or herbicides. But then when we get into the best category is going to be something like 100% grass-fed cheese. This can still be pasteurized. But then even better than that would be 100% grass-fed raw cheese, which we just talked about. But like we said, if you can call the company or the manufacturer to try and figure out what temperature that cheese is being heated to ultimately determine if it's truly raw.
Yeah, there's some wiggle room there, I guess. The better,
which is also something I've not done before.
Call the manufacturer.
Yeah, so that's something I'll do.
Yeah, test it out.
Yeah,
could do almost like a video there of just calling those manufacturers and seeing.
Real idea.
Yeah, it is.
Boom.
The better ones that you mentioned. Are you still getting those benefits, those vitamins that we talked about in the beginning from those?
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely still getting the vitamins. Yeah. It gets to the point where you may be destroying some of the different enzymes and maybe even beneficial bacteria. Some of these cheeses, cheese can contain probiotics, some beneficial bacteria in there, but that's when it might start getting destroyed when you start to pasteurize it.
I see. Okay. All right. I like that. So cheese, we're going to have more cheese in my diet.
Just don't overdo it. You don't want to be sitting there with a block of cheese and just eating a ton of it.
Yeah.
Try to have it with your meals, if anything. So for example, I do a lot of Parmesan cheese, and I'll just kind of slice up thin slices, and I'll put it on top of my beef and kind of make cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
So
a different form of cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Is Parmesan the most common cheese that you have?
Right now it is. Yeah. It used to be raw cheddar cheese, but now I've been consuming a lot more raw Parmesan cheese. And fun fact, just about all Parmesan cheese is raw. Although now I have to confirm, because now I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to confirm with the manufacturer that it truly is raw. But yeah, Parmesan cheese. Yeah, I think I love Parmesan cheese.
It's got a lot of flavor.
So much flavor, yeah. So that's been my recent obsession.
And very good on a burger.
Yeah.
Very good.
I told you this, but I did it on accident the first time. Because I ran out of my normal raw cheddar cheese. And I was like, let me cut up some slices of Parmesan cheese, throw it on the burger, see how it tastes. I was like, this is my new favorite thing.
Yes.
And now I've been doing it ever since, which was a couple months ago.
Yeah. And we had it last night.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you had it last night.
Yeah. Butter. Let's move on to butter.
Yes, I love butter.
Are there similar benefits that we talked about with cheese as you find in butter?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the same fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin DAKE, now we know.
Yeah.
DAKE.
I like that.
Also, a note on vitamin A I want to quickly talk about. So the type of vitamin A found in both cheese and butter is known as retinol. And this is the active form of vitamin A. And there is also, some people may say, Kyle, there's also vitamin A in other, leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables or things like that. But that is not the active form. That's it's basically the pre-vitamin A. So think of it that needs to get converted into the active form, which is retinol, in our body for it to be utilized. And only about 4%-ish, 4% of that actually gets converted.
So you have to consume, if you want the same amount of vitamin A, you have to consume a lot more of those leafy greens and vegetables compared to butter
Exactly.
or other
Butter and cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of getting back to why my superfoods list contained the things that they did, because these foods are so bioavailable and we basically absorb them right away. It doesn't need to get converted into something else first, like a lot of these plant foods do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you. That makes sense. And if you don't have to have as much quantity wise, you're worried about, maybe I'm not as full, but these are also very high in fat, which we've talked about is very satiating as well. So you don't need to consume so much.
Yep. Good fats.
Good fats.
Yeah.
Those good fats.
So fat-soluble vitamins, good fats, like we just said, fatty acids, which are good for your brain, your hormones, your nervous system, so many different things. And then also, butter also contains something called butyric acid or butyrate, which is anti-inflammatory and great for gut health.
Okay. So a lot of benefits in butter as well. Why it's one of Kyle's superfoods. What about the difference between raw versus pasteurized butter?
Yeah, that's another one where it's very difficult, almost impossible to find raw butter. You're not going to find it anywhere unless you live in a state where it's legal to sell raw dairy, which I'm jealous of those people. Places like California, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, maybe. Yeah.
We'd take a trip down to South Carolina.
I know. I thought about that. I actually looked up the other day. I was like, what's the closest grocery store to me in South Carolina? So I can just go stock up on raw dairy.
Yeah.
But you can also get it from, that's like where it's legal to sell in grocery stores. There's also local family farms where you can find these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult to find, very, very difficult to find raw butter. If you can, try to find a local farm. I just buy normal 100% grass-fed pasteurized butter from the store. Kalana Supernatural is a great brand where all their products are low temperature pasteurized or vat pasteurized, which again is that 145 degree mark where things don't get as destroyed. But they don't have any of their butter products in stores near me. But if they do, I would definitely recommend those.
Yep. And do you use butter when you cook, or is it something that you use after you've cooked and you add it for flavor?
It's normally just topping dishes after I cook. Yeah. The only thing I'll cook butter in is like eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're very low temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to heat it up too much. I'd rather just top it with things. And it's so delicious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you make a beef hamburger, throw some butter on there.
Delicious.
Throw some raw Parmesan cheese and some butter on there.
Woo, woo. It's like a flavor enhancer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Flavor enhancer.
So when you're cooking then at high temperatures, you're using avocado and olive oil.
Yeah, avocado oil, olive oil, and ghee.
And ghee.
Yeah, I love ghee.
Tell me about ghee.
Yeah, well, I guess, this is a good spot to talk about ghee. Ghee also has a lot of the same benefits as butter, a lot of the same nutrients. The only thing that ghee is different is that it's just the fat. So basically, how you make ghee is you take butter and then you heat it up and then you take away all of the milk solids and you're basically just left with the pure fat, the pure fat of butter. That's what ghee is. And that's better for high heat cooking. Okay,
so if you're going to cook a steak or something, then would you ever use ghee in that situation to cook it?
To cook steak?
Yeah.
Every time.
Every
day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I cook my beef in every day.
Not avocado oil there.
I normally do ghee.
Ghee, okay.
Yeah. I mean, either one.
Okay.
I normally do ghee. I prefer ghee.
Yeah.
More flavor.
A lot of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I started using ghee in my coffee in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Every morning I do it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and that's got good flavor.
Yeah.
And I guess that's good that obviously coffee's hot. Ghee can absorb or better work with the hot.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. That's science. Okay, so ghee is another really good, I guess, food to add into your diet as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about butter then here. Better.
Also, I do want to mention one more thing on butter and cheese in general and dairy products in general. I don't want people, and most of the people listening to this podcast, they're health conscious. They're probably not consuming a standard American diet with processed foods and refined grains and refined sugars and vegetable oils. But if those of you out there that maybe are new to this podcast or new to clean and healthy eating, I don't want you to think that you can eat a standard American diet with all of this processed junk food, throw in some butter, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not that simple. Prioritize real whole foods, high quality animal protein, fruits and vegetables. That's really what I mean when I say whole foods.
Yeah.
Animal protein, fruits and vegetables. Add some butter to those things, you're golden.
Yep. You got to cut the bad out first.
Yeah. Well, don't add butter to fruit, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know how that would be.
Yeah, don't do that.
No. Let's talk about bad, better, best.
Actually, I have done.
No, we're not going to talk about it.
I have done. Cut up an apple and cut up some raw cheese. Apple plus cheese.
Apple cheese.
Apple cheese. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Parmesan.
Yeah. Parmesan.
Parmesan cheese.
Probably
with
do
an
cheddar
apple.
too, but yeah.
Yeah. That I could see in actually being all right.
Because you get the sweetness from the fruit, but then I guess the savory and the fat and protein from the cheese. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good combo. Yeah, it plays all day.
I like that. Bad, better, best.
Bad, better, best.
All right, bad, better, best.
Now I'm ready. Okay.
Let's do it. For cheese.
Okay.
Start off with the bad.
Bad, better, best.
No, sorry, butter. I said butter. Let's start off with the bad, better, best.
Okay.
Bad for butter.
Bad for butter. Okay. Bad, better, best butter. Bad is going to be, I forgot about this. The plant-based butters.
What are those?
Oh, gosh.
I don't even know if I've seen them.
It's basically just vegetable oils and water and gums and preservatives.
It's like the plant-based milk version of butter?
Basically. Yeah. It's so sad to me that all these companies are taking perfectly good foods, like, this is kind of a tangent here, but perfectly good foods like beef, eggs, and butter. And they're making plant-based versions of it and milk, I guess.
Yeah.
And just all these plant-based versions, they consist of the same ingredients. They're vegetable oils, water, gums, emulsifiers, and preservatives.
Yeah. We talked about it on the milk one, but it wasn't like oat milk and almond milk. It's not milk.
No.
It's like oat juice.
Yeah.
It's oat water and a bunch of oils and gums and emulsifiers, like you said.
Exactly.
Same thing here?
Yeah, same thing here. So avoid the plant-based butter.
Yeah.
There may be one or two good brands of butter out there, but yeah, for the most part, they're not so good.
Okay.
Another one to look out for is spreadable butter, because a lot of times you'll see spreadable butter and then they'll add canola oil to make it more spreadable. I have yet to see spreadable butter with olive oil or avocado oil. So if you do find one, let me know. But spreadable butter, use that as a red flag. Watch out for that. So those would be the bad. The better,
yeah.
Anything that's just butter.
Okay.
So even your conventional butter. And for everyone out there that maybe you can't afford, raw dairy, or maybe you can't even afford 100% grass-fed, conventional dairy products are going to be better than plant-based products, and they still contain benefits. So in the better category, we have conventional butter. So this is going to be probably just going to say butter. It's not going to say organic or anything like that. The cows are fed grains, yes, and it's probably going to contain not as much omega-3 fats and CLAs, but it's still going to be good. It's still going to contain a lot of beneficial compounds. Next is organic butter, which we've talked about already. It doesn't contain, or the cows are not feeding on, the cows are feeding on organic grains and grass that have not been sprayed with synthetic pesticides and herbicides. And then the best option is going to be 100% grass-fed butter, or even better, 100% grass-fed raw butter.
Okay. Let's say that you're very focused on the budget, and you could either go for the best version of cheese or the best version of butter. Which one would you prioritize between those two?
If you had to choose one, I'd say the cheese.
The cheese.
Yeah.
If you had to get the best version of cheese and the better version of butter, that would work.
Yes.
Okay. That's more important.
And that's I guess, kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I always try to get raw cheese, but then I'll get pasteurized butter. I always try to get the grass-fed pasteurized butter, but yeah.
That cheese. Okay.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Yeah.
All right. That's good on butter. Definitely a good addition to the diet as well. Last one we want to talk about is yogurt, which gets grouped into the dairy one here. Do you have a lot of yogurt?
On and off.
On and off,
I'll buy it, consume it for a few weeks, and then I'll take like a month break.
How do you have it?
I normally just put some in a bowl, throw some berries in there, some fresh berries. It's normally when I buy berries. Like when I see the organic berries go on sale, then I'm like, that's a sign. I'm like, I'm heading back. I'm going to buy some yogurt. Yeah. And when I do buy yogurt, which I guess we'll get into, but I like to buy Alexander Farms, which is A2.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yogurt, and also low temp pasteurized or VAT pasteurized. So it's lower temperatures.
For the new followers that didn't hear the milk episode, what is A2 milk?
A2. So 99% of milk on grocery store shelves is A1 slash A2. And A1 and A2, these are the types of protein found in milk. In a very quick summary, thousands of years ago, there was some genetic mutation that happened in cows where it used to be they only produced A2 dairy, but there was this genetic mutation and they started to produce this A1 protein. And this A1 protein is more inflammatory to humans than A2. So that's why you're probably seeing more and more of these A2 milks pop up on grocery store shelves. And I always try to buy A2 when it comes to yogurt and milk.
Yogurt and milk. It wouldn't apply to butter and cheese.
Not that I buy milk. It does apply to that as well, but typically since cheese is fermented, it's better tolerated by people. And then butter, since it's mostly fat, it doesn't contain a lot of sugar, aka lactose.
And the other benefit of A2 is that if you are lactose intolerant, a lot of times you have a better chance of digesting A2.
Yeah, well, yeah. A lot of people that think they're lactose intolerant are really just sensitive to this A1 protein. So if you are lactose intolerant, give A2 dairy products a try and see if you tolerate them better.
All right, good tip there. So that's A2. That we talked about that. Another, I guess, food product that falls into yogurt that I am not familiar with, but I saw you post about it today.
Yeah, on
Kefir.
my story. Yeah. Kefir. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got it that time.
Yeah, kefir.
What is that?
I guess it's similar to yogurt in that it's fermented. Yogurt is typically fermented for 2 to 4 hours, and kefir is typically fermented for 14 to 18 hours, so much longer. Kefir is known for its probiotic effect, the beneficial bacteria in them, which is really good for gut health. But the thing is, with kefir and yogurt, and I'll start with yogurt. Most yogurt on grocery store shelves, if you look at it, almost all of them will claim we have probiotics in here, or we have live microorganisms, we have beneficial bacteria. But a majority of these companies, what they're not telling you is that it's fermented and then it's pasteurized. So it's fermented, and this fermentation process allows this beneficial bacteria to form, but then they pasteurize it to very high temperatures, which kills the beneficial bacteria.
Yep.
And same thing with kefir. They can ferment it for 14 to 18 hours, and then they'll pasteurize it, but they can still label it as probiotics, trillions of beneficial bacteria. So that's something to watch out for. There are a few brands that ferment that pasteurize it first and then ferment it, which is what you want.
Oh, interesting. Because then you're not, I guess, burning all the benefits of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the brand that I buy, again, Alexander Farms, I buy their A2 kefir. I love this brand. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. If they would like to sponsor me, that'd be fantastic. I would love that. I would love for them to sponsor me, but unfortunately they don't at the moment. I buy their A2, 100% grass fed, whole milk, and that's another thing. Whole milk. Side note: always go for whole milk.
Yeah.
Don't go for low fat skim milk.
We break that whole reason down on the milk episode.
Yeah, we're not going to go in depth in that now. But yeah, I love the brand because they low temperature pasteurize it to about 145 degrees to where it doesn't kill a lot of the beneficial enzymes and bacteria and other beneficial nutrients in there. And then they ferment it. So all of those living bacteria are there, and when you consume them, it's great for your gut.
Yeah, you get the benefit of it that way.
Exactly.
All right. And I guess I do see, and I think about it, a lot of yogurt commercials that talk about probiotics. And I don't think it's the Alexander Farm commercials.
No.
I'm seeing.
So
I definitely see that out there. So that marketing, it's sticking in my head at least.
more marketing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into then bad, better, best for yogurt.
Okay.
So start with the bad.
Oh, also. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I'll save my also.
Okay.
Bad. Any flavored yogurt. If you see, I have yet to see a good flavored yogurt. Almost all of them use added cane sugar and natural flavors. Even like if you see 100% grass-fed whole milk plain yogurt, but then you see it's vanilla flavored, it's probably going to have 12, 13, 14 grams of added cane sugar per serving and natural flavors. And that's just something you don't need.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend flavoring it yourself and adding something like raw honey and berries. That's always what I do.
Got it. So just get unflavored and add your own.
Always go for unflavored.
Got it. And it seems like most of these flavored yogurts that we see are targeted at kids.
Yes.
A lot of children's yogurt have all these bad elements to them.
Yeah, really bad. And it's skim milk to make it even worse. So it's just it's not going to fill them up at all. There's no fat.
Yeah.
Just it's making it sweeter.
We used to have a lot of yogurt as kids.
And now I know why I loved it.
Yeah.
I would chug yogurt.
Yeah, Danimals,
I would
Go-Gurts,
all of it.
Tricks.
Chug all of it.
Yeah. All of it. Just Do you remember the Go-Gurt? The little thing where you had to like roll it up at the end?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I remember the blue cotton candy one was my favorite.
Oh.
I remember I literally remember standing in the fridge, grabbing a Go-Gurt, standing there, opening it up, downing it, and then standing there and grabbing another one.
It wasn't
and
filling you
downing
up.
it. No, it wasn't filling me up at all.
Yeah.
But it was delicious.
It was delicious. The Tricks, we were reminiscing just before on the Tricks yogurt. And if you're a kid in the 90s, you just type in Tricks yogurt, you'll have memories.
Early
instantly.
2000s.
Early 2000s.
Well, yeah, 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
If you were born in the 90s.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We looked at the nutrition
Yeah.
facts.
Well,
It is ugly.
So we have an outline of our podcast,
Yeah.
and Kevin, I noticed Kevin wrote down Tricks under flavored yogurt, and I was like, Kevin, like I don't remember any Tricks yogurts. I was like, are you thinking about cereal?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, look it up. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Just a flood of memories.
we would down those Tricks
Oh my
yogurts because it was the one. It's like half and
yeah.
half, like two different colors.
Yep.
Yeah, and we looked at the ingredients. It's nothing but
Oh, it's yeah,
low
horrible,
fat milk,
horrible things.
cane sugar, vegetable oils, and
Yes.
artificial colors.
Yes.
But man, did that
Delicious.
bring back memories.
Yeah. So yogurt, especially with kids, be careful of.
Yeah.
So maybe just make your own. Get a big tub if you can of the unflavored and add in honey, add in maple syrup. Would you add maple
Yeah,
syrup?
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
to sweeten.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are my two favorite sweeteners, raw
Yeah.
honey and maple syrup.
Yep.
Add your own sweetener.
All right. So then better. What's better than that?
Anything that's just a single ingredient. Again, there's a theme here with all these dairy products. If it's a single ingredient, it's going to be better than most. So even if it's conventional yogurt, is going to be the better option. Organic yogurt would be even better than conventional, and then 100% grass-fed yogurt would be some of the best. And then also raw 100% grass-fed yogurt, which again you're not going to be able to find in stores.
No, that's tough to find.
Yeah, I've never seen raw, but I have seen. Getting back to my also from earlier, I have seen recently raw kefir in stores.
Uh-huh. I wonder why they can sell that.
That's a great question.
We're gonna have to look that up.
No, I know why.
I wonder why they can sell that.
Because if you look, and I was so confused at this the first time I saw it, but my fellow Instagram followers helped me out with this. I go into Sprouts and I'm looking at the dairy section and I see raw kefir, and I was like in shock because I've never seen raw dairy besides raw cheese, which now we know has different regulations.
Yep.
But I see raw kefir sitting there on the shelves, and I freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, raw dairy. I've never seen this before. And then I look at it and I'm like, and it says for cats and dogs.
No way.
And I was like, oh man, this is for cats and dogs. I can't have this. And I posted a picture of it. And on my story, I was like, has anyone seen this raw kefir? Like, it looks like it's pet food.
Yeah.
But looks like a good option for pets, I guess. And then they were all like, no, that's a workaround so they can get into stores.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
How can they do that? I don't know. How can they do that? That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's legal, I guess, for them to put for cats and dogs on it and sell it as a pet food. It literally says pet food on it.
Was it in the pet aisle or was
No,
it
no,
human
it was
aisle?
no, it was with all with
The human aisle.
it was with all the other dairy. It was right next to the milk and the heavy cream and
Was
kefir.
it big?
It was like a half what?
For cats and dogs? Was that big or was it like just small print?
No,
on
no,
the
it was
back?
big.
Okay.
A good size on the front and a picture of a cat and a dog on it. So I was like, oh man, I can't buy this.
Yeah.
Posted it on my story, and then I get all these people saying, no, that's just a workaround so they can sell it.
Wow. Shout out your Instagram followers.
Shout out. Yeah, seriously. And I went right back and bought like 3 jugs of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How is it?
It was great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the brand that actually does that is the brand Raw Farm.
Oh, that's the
one that
we
we were just talking about earlier.
Wow.
I want to go visit their farm, do a tour of their farm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Raw kefir.
Yeah. So that one, you may be, if raw dairy is illegal where you live, you may be able to find the raw kefir.
Wow.
Because it's for cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Don't. I'm not telling you to consume it.
No.
It's for cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs. Yeah. Yeah. And also, just don't eat cats and dog treats. That's not. Don't do that.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Like if you're like, oh, that's a workaround, and then you just start looking for all kinds of food that are made for cats and dogs.
You know,
don't do that.
Just the kefir. Just the kefir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one last topic I wanted to ask about is sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
Does that follow the same line of thinking here?
Yeah, similar thing. The only thing I'd say for sour cream, watch out and make sure there's no added gums and emulsifiers. Sometimes they'll add that in to thicken it up and make it seem creamier. So look out for that. And then also, I've never seen grass-fed sour cream. So the best you can really do there is organic. And for the most part, it's going to be pasteurized.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right. That's going to be it for episode 18 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully it wasn't too long. It felt long, but I don't know exactly how long it was. If you found this helpful, please go ahead and share it with a friend. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you next week in episode 19.
Thanks.